Namaskaram to everyone and welcome to the next session. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Va Pranaschakshushrotramatho Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahmopanishadam Aham Brahma Nirakuryam Mama Brahma Nirakarota Nirakaranastu Nirakaranam Mestu Tadatmani Nirateyo Panishatsu Dharmaha Te Mai Santu Te Mai Santu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. In the previous session, we were looking at the few sessions. We studied generally, briefly, the nature of Brahman as established in Vishistadvaita, based on the Shruti, Smriti, Sutra, Pramanas, and all that. Brahma Sutras themselves established in many, many ways the nature of Brahman. And in that, we saw that Brahman is the sole cause of this world, is the means, is the material cause, instrumental cause, and all that. All this we had seen. And 1 minute. And we were at the point where we were looking at Brahman is having a divine auspicious form, which is also established in a Brahma Sutra in Antaradhikarana. By the Brahma Sutra, Antaha Tadharmopadeshat. And Bhagavad Ramanujan is established in great detail, and he has given a wonderful explanation of the divine auspicious form of Paramatman in Vedartha Sangraha, and also quotes from various Shrutis and Smritis, Puranas, and all that. So Paramatman is always endowed with a eternal, divine, auspicious form, which is made of Shuddha Sattva. And in all avatars, in whatever forms he is there, all the forms he is always having this. He may either manifest this or not manifest it. People may not be able to see the form of Paramatman like that, but he is always having it. So that is something which is clearly established in this system. And he is also associated inseparably with Sri Devi, who is the consort. And it is also declared in the Shruti in several places. Krishyate Lakshmishya Patnyo Sumajjanaye Vishnave Dadashati. Like this, many, many places it is there in Sri Sukta. Sri Sukta, it is very clearly there. And various places it is there. It is also, Sri Devi is also addressed in different names. In some places, Swadha is also told. Anidavatam Swadhaya Tadekam. Rigveda, Yajurveda, both places it is found, this mantra. Anidavatam Swadhaya Tadekam. Swadha is says to be Sri Devi. Shraddha is also told. Shraddhaya Devo Devatvamashnute. Shraddha is told. Like this, many other names are also told for Sri Devi in the Vedas. And the nature of Sri Devi is equal to that of Narayana. They are both equally Sheshis, both equally having the same status. But even with that, we say Sarvasheshi is Narayana only. If we say it is because of the Pati-Patni relationship between them, husband and wife relationship. So they have an understanding that both together we will protect all the Chetanas in this world. So they have an agreement. That is how it is explained by our Acharyas. And in Vishnu Purana, of course, very clearly during Samudra Mathana, when Sri Devi, Mahalakshmi comes out and she goes and takes resort in the chest of Paramatman, in the Vakshasthala of Narayana. Indra does a wonderful stuti. He prays to Mahalakshmi there. There are many shlokas which explain Yatha Sarvagato Vishnuhu, Tathaiveyyam Dujottama, like that. Just like Vishnu is all pervading, she is also all pervading. Raghavatve abhot Sita, Rukmini, Krishna Janmani, Anyeshu avatareshu, Vishnorena eva anurupini. She also incarnates in accordance to whatever form Paramatman takes in his divine incarnations. All those things are told in great detail in Vishnu Purana, very clearly. So that is established very clearly with various pramanas. And he is also the Lord of Paramapada, where he resides in Pararupa. There are 5 rupas in which he appears: Pararupa, Vyuharupa, Vibhava Rupa, Antaryami Rupa, and Archa Rupa. Pararupa is something which is present in the Paramapada. And Vyuharupa is Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. Very in detail, you find the great details of all these things in Agama Granthas. And in each of these forms, he exhibits 2 qualities of the Shad Gunya, 6 well-known qualities of Paramatman. Jnana Shakti Balaishwarya Virya Tejas. Jnana Shakti are exhibited prominently. Bala Aishwarya, like the two qualities. So that is for different purposes. Srishti, Sthiti, Laya is done by Aniruddha, Pradyumna, and Sankarshana. So based on that, they exhibit those qualities. But all 6 qualities are present, all the forms. Now, all the 5 forms of Paramatman, all the attributes are always present. But some of them become prominent based on the function that he does taking those forms. In the Vibhava avataras, there are quite famous Ramakrishna Adi avataras, Dashavataras, and Vyuhantaras are also told. The Vyuhas, 4 Vyuhas, Pararupa and Vyuharupa, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Anurupa, Aniruddha. Keshavadi, 12 namas are well known. Keshava, Narayana, Madhava, Govinda, like that. 3 are said to be Vyuhantaras. That is also, all these explanations are there in various Rahasya Granthas of our Acharyas and all that. They are all established by the Pancharatra Agamas and the Agama Granthas very clearly, which is also taken as a valid testimony in our Siddhanta and also established in the Brahma Sutras. And the Antaryami Avatara is the 4th one. Harda Avatara, Harda Rupa is also told, Antaryami Rupa, revealed to the yogis in their tapas. And Archa is the forms present in Sri Rangam, Kanchipuram, and all these Divya Kshetras. 108 Divya Kshetras are very well known, sung by the famous Alvars, which are said to be holy places and which are very well known because the Alvars have sung, having gone to those places and having had the direct vision of the Lord in those places. They have sung out of great devotion. And from that we come to know, we identify these places. They are all his Archa form is also a real form of Paramatman only. So in the temples and all, our Acharyas say, Swami Deshikan also very clearly he says in his Rasya Granthas, and other Acharyas also very clearly make it very clear that we should not actually say this is Amrita Shile, this is Saligrama Shile, or this is wood or something like that. The form of the Lord present in the Divya Kshetras or temples. But they are all the divine forms of the Lord. They are all divine auspicious forms. Shuddha Sattvamaya Rupa of Bhagavan. Archa Rupas are all. We may not be able to perceive it because of our ajnana, our karma, which is which is hiding the real nature. But it is true that as per Shastras, it is a divine auspicious form of the Lord is present in all these places. So these are all the five forms in which he reveals himself: Para, Vyuha, Vibhava, Antaryami, and Archa. And he is the Sarva Rakshaka, all protector. And there's nobody who can protect us like him. Protection in this world is also, we can see, in a very limited sense. Whereas the ultimate protection is protecting us from the samsara itself. And so that can be done only by Sriman Narayana. And so he is the ultimate protector. The very letter Akara stands for Sriman Narayana. So that Akara, Aha, is also a word formed from the root Avarakshane. So that itself shows Rakshakatva. So in Pranava, the very first letter is Akara, which is said to be the cause of all the Pranava. So Pranava is originated from Akara, and all other words are originated from Pranava, the Vedas and everything else. So Akara is the cause of all the words. Akaro havai sarvavak. And one who is denoted by the word Akara, Aha, is Paramatman, which means all words denote Paramatman. So that is established in the Upanishad. Yadvedado swara proktaha vedante cha pratishthitaha tasya prakritilinasya yaparasya maheshwaraha. Yadvedante, Yadvedado, beginning of the Vedas, we say Pranava, and then in the Vedantas, Upanishads, it is established the nature of Pranava. The end also we tell. And Vedado Swaraha Proktaha, Veda Adau, beginning of the Vedas, the Swara which is told is Pranava. Vedante Pratishtitaha. Tasya Prakriti Linasya. Prakriti means the cause. Yah Paraha. The Prakriti of all the Vedas is Pranava. And Pranava's Prakriti is Akara. And Yah Paraha Samaheshwaraha. One who is denoted by that Akara is Paramatman only. So that clearly says that all words denote Paramatman in the ultimate sense. And that Akara, Aha, is very clearly telling us that he is the all protector. Avarakshane, Avakarane, these are the dhatu from which it is derived. So he has supremacy and accessibility, both, which is extremely important for us. If only supremacy is there, Paratva, but it is not accessible, there is no use. Accessibility is there, Saulabhya, but Paratva is not there, there is no use. Both should be there for us to get the ultimate benefit. And he is the Supreme Lord and Supreme Protector. If we do not follow Shastra, which is said to be containing his order, we will be punished. We will be punished. Shruti smritihi mamaiva ajna. Yastam ullangya vartate. Ajna chedi mamadrohi madbhaktopi na vaishnavaha. Is the words of Paramatman only. He says, Shruti smriti alal, my command. It contains my commands. One has to follow. If we follow, we will be rewarded. And does this without partiality, Paramatman. Whether he is Vasishtha or an ordinary person or whoever it is, if they follow Shastra, they will be rewarded. If they don't follow, they will be punished. So there is no partiality there. And Paramatman gives out of his own compassion the body, senses, and jnana and chit shakti and kriya shakti. Knowledge, capability to know, capability to act, which is very important. So, since we are endowed with capability to know and act, we are supposed to study the Shastras, we can understand, we can get the knowledge, we can act according to that. We have the capacity to do that. And he also gives us Shastra and Acharyas and all that. And he only bestows fruits for all karmas and also liberation, including liberation, which is also told in the Upanishad itself. So this He concludes the nature of Brahman, just concluding in 2, 3 slides what we saw earlier itself. All the main attributes of Paramatman. Brahman can be known, the first thing, and can be denoted by words. Not that we cannot denote Brahman by any word, or we cannot know him at all. We can know him, but we can know him as not capable of knowing fully, Ananta. So we cannot know him fully, but we can know that we cannot know him fully. So he has auspicious qualities, and he can be denoted by various words, as the Upanishads say, Vedas say. Brahman is an abode to innumerable auspicious qualities, far from anything defiling. So that is the meaning of Saguna and Nirguna. This is called the Ubhayalinga of Paramatman, established in the Brahma Sutra. Vadarayana uses the same word, Ubhayalinga. Nasthanatopi parasya Ubhayalingam sarvatra hi. Brahma Sutra, he says, he has got Ubhayalinga everywhere. Brahman is not attributeless or abstracted, attributeless consciousness. He is endowed with all kinds of auspicious qualities. The sole cause of the universe is unchanging, avikari. He can be known only from the Shastras. He is the support of everything, Sarvadhara, all controller, Sarvaniyanta, the master of all, Sarvasheshi. He has everything as his Sharira, Sarva Shariri. So Sharira means we have to remember 3 relationships, that which is supported, which is controlled, and which is subservient. He is called Sharira in all states. And that which supports, which controls, which is the master of all, is called the Atman or Shariri. So Brahman and this world of Chetana and Achetanas has got this relationship, Sharira, Shariri, Bhava. And he is the protector of all, Sarva Rakshaka. And he manifests in 5 forms, Rupas, Paravyuha, Vibhava, Antaryami, and Archa. He has 6 extraordinary qualities, Shad Gunya, Jnana, Shakti, Bala, Aishwarya, Virya, Tejas. And he is only the ready-made means to attain him. Siddha Upaya, it's called. He is the ultimate means to attain him. Only with his grace we can attain him. So that becomes the ultimate means. But in order to get his grace, we have to perform certain means, adopt certain means here. Brahman is Sriman Narayana. He is the Devata Vishesha, the particular deity, told as Parabrahma, Atma, etc. in various words, using various words in the Shastras. He has a most wonderful divine auspicious form, which is most enjoyable, and which all the liberated selves enjoy and perform service to in Paramapada. He is a Lord of 2 worlds, Nitya Vibhuti and Leela Vibhuti, both. These are all just the summary of the nature of Brahman, which we discussed so far in little more detail. And now we go to some other topics. We studied about nature of Jivatman, nature of Brahman, nature of Prakriti, about creation. We saw all these things. Little bit about Dharmabhuta Jnana, which is a very important aspect in this Siddhanta. It's called attributive consciousness. This is something which is important. So I thought we will do a little bit of discussion on this. This is something unique to Vishistadvaita. Not that this concept it's not there at all in other darshanas. This concept is still there. It has to be there in some form or the other. In the Advaita, for example, in the Vyavaharika Satyatva, attributive conscious is there. Otherwise, you cannot study Shastra or understand Shastra at all, Jivatma. In the ultimate sense, it may not be there. But in the Vyavaharika Satyatva, it is there as far as the world is being, though it is an appearance. When we are seeing is an appearance. We see things, we perceive things, we understand, we study Shastra. All these have to be accepted at that level. The final level, it may not be, but Vyavaharika Satyatva, it has to be. In the Madhva Darshana also, it has to be accepted. Dvaita also, it is there. It's called Sakshi Indriya. The names are a little different and defined little differently. But this concept is there, that Jivatma is a knower. He has to know. He can liberate himself only by taking refuge at an acharya, which is told by all the acharyas, irrespective of any darshana, one has to approach an acharya only and understand the Adhyatma Vidya. Otherwise, it cannot be understood by however intelligent a person is, Shankaracharya says. However brilliant a person is, he cannot understand the concepts of all these concepts, Adhyatma Shastra, without taking refuge at an Acharya. So, without approaching an Acharya, we cannot understand. It has to be understood properly. So, for that, knowership is very important. Jivatma is a knower. He knows things. He has the capability to know. That is the most important quality of the Jivatma. That's called Dharma Bhuta Jnana. That attribute is also of consciousness, of the nature of consciousness. His substantive nature is also consciousness. His attributive nature is also consciousness. This is how Shastras say. He knows everything other than his own existence through this attribute knowledge only. Directly he knows only that I am there. Aham, we say, my mind, I am there, like this. My eyes, my hand, I do this, I don't do this, I know this. Like that. So that I, which comes, is known directly. For that, he doesn't need any other means of knowledge. But for knowing everything other than myself, we have to resort to it. It is done through the Dharmabhuta Jnana, which is an eternal attribute of Jivatman. Paramatman also has that. So he is of the nature of consciousness. It's called Jnana Swarupa, and also a knower, which means he has attributive consciousness. Like a sun, the object sun is also there, its brightness is also there. They are eternally associated. You cannot separate out the brightness from the sun. And it is always there. It can cover it maybe with clouds or something like that, can cover that. But when it goes up, it shines by itself. That shines, it is always there like that. Are the lamp and its brightness, which are already eternally associated. Lamp itself is not brightness. Brightness itself is not the lamp. Lamp is also there, its brightness is also there. Brightness spreads everywhere. The lamp will be in one place. Like that, Jivatman is in one place. His jnana, dharma spreads everywhere, which is also of the nature of consciousness. We cannot imagine this because we don't see any object of consciousness, spiritual entity in this world. We cannot perceive directly. We can only realize that I am there, but I cannot see the Atman like that in the body. That is why it is very difficult to perceive. It can be understood only from Shastra. And the attributive consciousness is different from Sarupa Jnana and inseparably associated with it. It is never that it is not there. So he is never devoid of knowledge, but his knowledge may be very contracted. And mind, the other sense organs are all inert substances. Our manas is also inert. Our prana is also inert. Our indriyas are also inert. Our body is also inert. None of them have got knowledge. Our mind cannot reveal objects to us, but it can only help in understanding. It's a channel for our consciousness to flow. In Jivatma's consciousness flows through Dharmabhuta Jnana, flows through these channels of mind, indriyas and all that. Atma manasa samyujyate, manaha indriyena, indriyam arthena. So Atma gets contact through Dharmabhuta Jnana, through the mind, and then through indriyas, and then through the objects. Like that it goes. We perceive. Mind is only one. Indriyas are many. So when we perceive many things at a time, only one after us, it is happening to us. We understand one after the other. But we don't realize it. It is so fast. Because mind is only one. And that is the innermost contact with the Jivatman's Dharmabhuta Jnana. It first contacts with the mind, then the various senses. It flows through them, and then, or it does according to the function of the sense organ. It perceives things like sound or form or whatever it is, sense of touch or sense of form or sense of sound, etc. Sense of taste, sense of smell. All these things are perceived by the Jivatman through the Dharmabhuta Jnana. The Indriya sense organ itself cannot tell us that this is having this smell or this is having this is a sound. This is a sound from a mridangam or a percussion instrument or a veena or a violin, whatever it is. Our sense organ cannot tell us, but our Dharmabhuta Jnana is the one which is giving us this knowledge to the Jivatman. So that is how it is explained. Though it is consciousness, the Dharmabhuta Jnana, because it is an attribute, it cannot know itself. A quality is not the substance itself. Quality. So Jivatman's quality attribute, that is a consciousness, doesn't know itself, but it reveals objects to its Jivatman, its base. It shows objects to Jivatman with whom it is associated inseparably. My Dharmabhuta Jnana doesn't reveal things to another person. That person's Dharmabhuta Jnana doesn't reveal things to me. So it is only associated eternally with that individual self. And Jivatman pervades the body through this attributive consciousness. How it happens, we don't know. It's the most wonderful thing that is happening. And in the Shastra, many places, the word buddhi is also used in some contexts to denote Dharmabhuta Jnana. Not in all places, but buddhi is used in various senses. Some places it is the deciding function of the mind is also called buddhi, nishchayatmaka manaha, manas. When manas, mind is deciding a decision, we are taking a decision, it's called buddhi. But buddhi is also, jnana is also the word used for buddhi. And Shruti and Smriti, Bhagavad Gita and others and sutras clearly established that Jivatman is a knower, doer, enjoyer. All this knowership or doership or enjoyership always happens through the Dharmabhuta Jnana. Everything is a different modes of the Dharmabhuta Jnana, prakara. That's all. Dharmabhuta Jnana is the most fundamental quality of the Jivatman, through which all his functions happen. Everything is a form of his Dharmabhuta Jnana only. Knowership or enjoyership or doership, etc. Everything is, the fundamental thing is the Dharmabhuta Jnana for the Jivatma. And Shruti Pramanas, there are umpteen Pramanas, Sutra also. Jnaha atayeva in Brahma Sutra, Badarayana says Jnaha. Jnaha means Jnanam Masya Asti, Jnaha. He has got Jnana, knowership. It is told, Karta Shastra Arthavatvat. He is a doer because Shastras are meaningful. They are purposeful. If Shastra says do this, don't do this, entire Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling Arjuna, do this, don't do this, don't do this. If he doesn't have the capability to do, what is the purpose of the Shastra? He has the capability to do. He can act, he can enjoy. All these are possible. Navijñātuhu vijñātehe viparilopo vidyate. There is never loss of knowership for a knower. Avinashi vare atman ayam atma. Anuchitti dharma. It's a mistake here. Anuchitti dharma. Uchitti means nasha. Anuchitti means there is no nasha. It is never destroyed. It is eternal. Anuchitti dharma means one who has a dharma, an attribute which is never destroyed, is that. During Atmavalokana, the Dharmabhuta Jnana is totally devoted, is focused on the Atma Swarupa. So that time, everything he perceives through the body only we perceive. There is a question that what is the state of Dharmabhuta Jnana during Atmavalokana? When one is realized, when he has realized the self, the Dharmabhuta Jnana perceives the reality of the self. So when he sees some other person, he knows that that person's body is different from the self, the Atma, and his Atma is Jnanakara. He sees all those things. He perceives all those things. And his own, my body, the functions, he will be doing all the functions. He will be seeing, eating, sleeping, all that he will be doing. But his Jnana will be always having that knowledge that I am different from the body. I am of the Jnana Swarupa. I am subservient to the Lord. All these things will be always, every moment it will be there. So all these functions will be doing mechanically. because they are not the functions of the Jivatma in reality, in its originality. They are real only, but not the natural state of the Jivatma. It is of the association with the body that we are doing all these functions. Talking, sleeping, eating, they are not there for the Atma. Atman is not having all these. Atman has to be in his original state with Nirvambhuta Jnana and no material connection. Material is completely disconnected from the Atma in his original state, real state, where during liberation there is no contact with material for him. He has a body which is non-material, Shuddha Sattvamaya. He can take many bodies, Shruti says. He knows everything through his attributive knowledge itself. He doesn't need sense organs to know in the liberated state. So here, when he is there with the body and he has realized himself, every moment he will be knowing that I am different from the body. I am doing this function. I am eating this. This is not in my nature. This is because of the association with Prakriti that it is happening. So it doesn't affect him in any way. His mind is always be thinking about that. His jnana is always completely thinking about that Atma Swarupa. That is how it will be. That is told in Gita as Ya Nisha Sarvabhutanam Tasyam Jagrati Samyami. Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani Sa Nisha Pashyato Munehe. All the beings in respect of the nature of the Atman, they don't realize, so it is like darkness for them. In that aspect, a knower will be awake always. And when all these beings are awake with respect to all the experience of the senses, in those aspects, he is sleeping. That is the meaning of that. Ya Nisha Sarvabhutanam Tasyam Jagrati Samyami. Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani Sa Nisha Pashyato Munehe. That is how a realizer, one who has realized the self, will be. So these are pramanas which say that Jivatma has no airship. And in many Upanishads, Prashna Upanishads clearly says, Raseta, Ghrata, Manta, Vijnanatma, Bodha, Vijnanatma, Purushaha. Vijnanatma, Purushaha is substantive nature, is also consciousness, Vijnana, and he is also a Bodha, he is also a knower. He is a taster, he is an experiencer, he is a listener. All these things are told there. Vijnataram are kena vijaniya. Vijnataram, one who is a knower. That is what is the meaning. So Dharmabhuta Jnana, it doesn't know itself, but it shows objects to its base. Jivatman knows itself, but he doesn't perceive things other than himself without the Dharmabhuta Jnana. He perceives everything through Dharmabhuta Jnana only. Everything other than his own nature. If there are no objects to be shown, obviously Dharmabhuta Jnana, though it exists, it does not reveal anything. So this is what happens in Sushupti. The question, even though the attributive knowledge is always present, why does he not know anything during deep sleep, Sushupti? If Dharmabhuta Jnana is there, he should have so known. So it is like in an empty room when there are no objects. If you don't see any objects, we don't say, I have lost my sight. I have not lost my sight. I don't see anything because there is nothing to see. It's an empty room. There is nothing to see. So I don't see anything. Similarly, in Sushupti, there is nothing to see because we are deeply united with Paramatman, and all our sense organs, mind, everything will be inward, pulled inward, and Jivatman will be united with Paramatman. Only prana will be active. But Jivatman knows his own presence because after he wakes up, he says, I did not sleep. I shows that he knew that he existed. He did not experience anything. He did not know anything because there is nothing to be known. That is how it is explained. And Jivatman is covered by excess of tamas. It is like the sun covered by clouds. He does not experience anything. All experiences of Jivatma such as, because deep sleep is also a defect for the Jivatma. It is also a dosha. Sleep is also dosha. Dream is also dosha. Deep sleep also is a defect. When tamas increases in our body, it is made of sattva, rajas, and tamas. Tamas increases. Then we go to sleep. We feel very sleepy, lazy, and all those things comes when tamas increases. That's why it is taught in Gita that sattva has to be increased. Do everything to increase sattva guna. So the experiences of Jivatman, such as happiness, sorrow, are all through this Dharmabhuta Jnana only. So this is one important concept here, and it is all pervasive in its natural state. Dharmabhuta Jnana is all pervasive. So when he becomes a Sarvajna in Paramapada, when he goes in the liberated state, though his substantive nature is atomic, is very, very subtle, he stays in only one place. He cannot be present in two places at the same time. But through his attributive knowledge, he can know everything, everywhere. Like the sun's rays spread all over the world. Sun is only at one place, but the rays spread all over the world. Like that, Jivatma will be one place, his Dharmabhuta Jnana will be all pervasive in the liberated state. Here it is covered by karma. During samsara, bound state, it is contracted, hence it does not know everything. When liberated, it exists in its natural state, and Jivatma knows everything. It is not created newly. Only whatever is the cover goes off, and it will be in natural state. It is not newly created, because that which is created has to get destroyed. That is the general rule, nyaya, that everybody accepts. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu. Anything that is born is destroyed. Everything that is created will be destroyed. But this is eternal. This is not created, or this is not destroyed, but it contracts and expands because it is covered by karma, like clouds covering the rays of the sun, or dust covering the brightness of a diamond. When the dust is removed, the brightness comes out. It is not newly created. It was already there. It is just reveals itself. Like that, when the bondage of karma is removed, it shines forth in its natural state. And these are all the examples given in Brahma Sutra itself. In the Pramanas also it is told very, very clearly all this. It contracts and expands during the bound state. It is also said to be a substance, but it is present as an attribute. That is how Shastras explain it. It's a little difficult to understand because we can't imagine such things, but we can only, by a lot of thinking and studying a lot of works, we can understand how all these functions happen and what is the real meaning. We need to study a lot of works, and many times we have to contemplate on it and all that. Then we can perceive, we can understand to a large extent how it happens, what is the meaning of all this and all that. So this is just only an introductory course, so we may not be able to understand everything here. After that, we go to the means to liberation, sadhana. So we studied about tattvas. Now we study the hita, which is liberation, means to liberation. Tattva, hita, purushartha. These are the three things that we have to understand. The tattva part we have studied so far. Prakriti, Purusha, Paramatma, and all that. Many things associated with them. We went through briefly in many classes. Now we look at the hita, or the means, or the way, or the path of the seeker. The sadhana, it's called. So there are two means to liberation. We are looking mainly at liberation here, as established in the Shrutis. They are called as Bhakti Yoga or Upasane, famously in the Upanishads, and Prapatti or self-surrender. Both are direct means to moksha. Both these are independent means to liberation, though there is a component of each in the other. That is also important to know. Bhakti Yoga cannot be done without Prapatti. This is told very, very clearly by all acharyas, Madhvacharya also, Shankaracharya also, Ramanujacharya also. So even in the Advaita Darshana, for Bhakti Yoga, one does Bhakti Yoga, meditates upon Vishnu, Narayana is the ultimate God, as per Shankara Bhashya. Many, many places it is told. And in order to get the like the mind to be focused. One has to contemplate to get that focus. One has to meditate continuously on the Lord, Sriman Narayana, with all attributes, without any defects. The same thing as in Vishistadvaita it is told, the Bhakti Yoga of Advaita also. But he gets the ekagrate that is required, concentration, ultimate concentration by this, with the grace of the Lord. How do you get this? You have to surrender unto Him, he says. Bhagavad Prapatti Mantarena na sadhyate. Without doing, surrendering unto Him, you cannot attain that. Shankaracharya says. Prapatti is told by everybody. And even Buddham Sharanam Gacchami means Sharanam is Prapatti only. It is telling all that. Prapatti is accepted by all at some level or the other. So, Bhakti Yoga also, even to start Karma Yoga, we have to surrender unto the Lord and say, there are so many obstacles in Karma Yoga, please remove all these obstacles so that I can start Karma Yoga. Then, same thing with Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga or Bhakti Yoga or whatever it is, anything that we do, there are obstacles. And we cannot get removed. All those obstacles we are incapable of removing ourselves. There are many upayas in the Shastras told for prayashchitas and things like that. Kushmanda Homa or this or that. So whatever we can do, all those things. But how many will you do? How many obstacles are there? How do you know? How many will you do? You keep on doing for our whole life also, you will not be able to eliminate all the obstacles. So the best way which Krishna says, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. He says, surrender unto me, I will take care of removing all the obstacles. You don't have to do all the Krishna, Chandra and all these vratas or yaga, yajna, homas. Don't do anything those. Just realize that you cannot do all those things and get rid of the obstacles. Surrender unto me. I will help you. And with my grace, you will get rid of all obstacles. You can start Karma Yoga, or Jnana Yoga, or Bhakti Yoga. This is what he teaches Arjuna. That is told in Upanishads also. Mumukshurvai sharanamaham prapadye sarvasya sharanam surate. That is prapatti is also told. So, Bhakti Yoga also prapatti is required. Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga are accessories to Bhakti Yoga. And all of them require prapatti. Surrendering unto the Lord and praying for His grace so that we can start this means. And when we realize that we cannot even with all the obstacles are removed, I cannot do Karma Yoga. Even for doing Karma Yoga is the most difficult. Even one day we cannot do. Why one day? 1 minute also we cannot do. So that Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, when we realize we are utterly incapable of doing all that, we resort to the Lord and pray Him for giving us the ultimate moksha itself. That becomes a direct means to moksha. We are not doing prapatti and then doing karma yoga or prapatti and doing bhakti yoga. We are doing prapatti only for moksha itself. The fruit given by the bhakti yoga is given by prapatti itself. Then it becomes a direct means to moksha. That is also taught in the Upanishads. So, then the first thing that is required for all this is mumukshutva. Most difficult is mumukshutva. Is very difficult to get. All acharyas say this. Desire to get liberated. Most people are having desire to make more money, to more status, or more life, long life, things like that. Very, very few people, very few people are having desire to attain liberation, get liberated from the samsara, because they don't realize that samsara is full of grief and painful. And so, this mukshutva is very important. So one should be interested in getting liberated. If they are not interested, they will not even do. So, arthitva it is called, arthitva. And then you should have the capability, samarthya. Both are there means you can do upasana. Even devatas also have samarthya. If they have arthitva, they can also do upasana and get liberated. That is established in Brahma Sutra. Taduri upariyapi bhadarayanaha sambhavat. He says, devas also can do upasana and attain moksha. Because if they have arthitva and sam, what is required is arthitva and samarthya. Capability has got three parts that we will come to later. Arthitva is desire to get liberated. So one should understand the cycle of birth and death, full of grief, not the natural state for Jivatman. And then we should yearn to be our natural state. So the means to liberation, one should have mumukshutva first. And then there are two means, bhakti and prapatti. Bhakti means bhakti yoga, what is meant here. So for this we need knowledge of Shastra and Satsangati. Satsangati kathaya kimnu karoti pumsam. Satsangati kathaya kimnu karoti pumsam. What it doesn't do for a person. Satsangati, satsanga. That can transform a person wonderfully without our knowledge. Great devotion or bhakti. And then one has to do karma yoga and attain Atma Avalokana, or do Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga and attain Atma Avalokana. Both the paths are possible. So I give an arrow mark here directly. From Karma Yoga, one can directly get Atma Avalokana, or through Jnana Yoga and Atma Avalokana. For Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga has to be done. But for Karma Yoga, for Atma Avalokana, Karma Yoga itself can give. This is one of the unique characteristics of Vishistadvaita Siddhanta. And after that, one can do Bhakti Yoga. When one realizes that I am subservient to the Supreme Lord Sriman Narayana, he will have a great yearning to attain Sriman Narayana. That is when he will start Bhakti Yoga, the seeker. Till that time, one cannot start Bhakti Yoga. Without realizing our nature that we are utterly subservient to the Lord and we are Jnana Swarupa, different from the body and all that, one will not be able to perform Bhakti Yoga. And then Paramatma Sakshatkara, liberation happens. This Bhakti Yoga has to be done forever till the result comes, till the benefit is attained. One has to be practicing Bhakti Yoga. Prapatti is not like that. Prapatti is a very different means. The knowledge of Jivatman, Ishvara, or the Parabrahman, and their relationship is required. Samantha Jnana. These are some of the important things that are to be known. And then lack of capability. Here, one has to have the capability to, the eligibility to study Shastras, Vedadhyayana, Adhikara should be there. It's not there for everyone. As per the Shastra, Vedadhyayana is not there for everyone. Not eligibility is not there. Only those who have eligibility can do Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga and all this. And they should have the knowledge, the capability to understand all these means, and they have to resort to Acharya, and for many thousands of years, I don't know how long their karma, prarabdha karma exists. Till that time, they have to do Bhakti Yoga, steady, concentrated, conscious meditation on the Lord, divine auspicious form of the Lord, every single day, without leaving, with all the Nitya Naimittika karma, everything. So all these are qualifications for Bhakti Yoga. But when one has doesn't have all these, the disqualification of Bhakti Yoga becomes qualification for Prapatti. So lack of capability, lack of knowledge. I don't have the knowledge. I can't even understand Vedas. I can't even understand Upanishads. I have no eligibility to understand. Adhikara is not there. I cannot do tapas. I cannot even concentrate for 1 minute. So I cannot do Karma Yoga, or Jnana Yoga, or Bhakti Yoga. But I want liberation. I am extremely interested. I know that I am different from the body. I am subservient to the Lord, and all that I know. And Lord is the Sarva Rakshaka, Sarva Jagat Karana. He is the one who bestows all the fruits for all the karmas. All these things I am aware. So I go and just take resort with an Acharya and request him to do Prapatti. Or if I have complete knowledge, I can do myself Prapatti. That is called Swanishtha. Swanishtha is one performs oneself with, they should have thorough knowledge of how to perform Prapatti as told in the Shastras. Or there are Uktinishta and Acharya Nishta. Uktinishta is they are told to repeat the mantra and all those things when they perform prapatti by the Acharya. Acharya Nishtha is we don't know anything, you perform everything on behalf of me. I have complete confidence in you. I have complete belief in you, complete faith in you, the Acharya. Because we have seen the Acharya closely. We have moved with them. We have served them. We know how they are, how strictly they are adhering to all the Shastra and all those things, how their knowledge is, how they are devoted to the Lord. We see all those qualities in the Acharya and go and take resort in them and request them, please do prapatti for me. And they will do for us. That is called Acharya Nishtha. This is done only once in a life. And it is only a few minutes work. That's all. This is what Shastra says. For that we have to have Mahavishwasa and all that. I am going to tell details of it later. But at the end of the current life itself, they will get liberated. And after doing this prapatti, which is one-time duty, doing for a few minutes, there is nothing else to be done for liberation. No other means. But Bhakti Yoga is not like that. We will continue the entire life, and if there are few more births to be taken because of prarabdha karma, it has to be continued even during that time. Like that. Like Jadavarta, if he became a deer and he again continued and again he became a Brahmin, again he continued like that. Many births may be taken to get liberated. So these are the two main means of told in the Shastra for liberation. So we are going into details of these. The very first step, as I told you, is the path of sadhana for a seeker. Acquire the necessary knowledge is required. As prescribed for the particular means, necessary knowledge is prescribed. It is divided into two means, as taught in. The knowledge itself is divided into two. This is a wonderful classification of knowledge, which is seen in the Upanishads. So these are all concepts, not anything new that the new scientists or new thinkers have brought out. These are all very, very old. The Upanishads itself wonderfully classifies knowledge as two, Paravidya and Aparavidya. Two classifications. These are only two types of knowledge that is required. Aparavidya is said to be the foundational knowledge. Apara doesn't mean that it is lower knowledge. It is foundational knowledge. All the Vedas, Vedanga, other related Shastras, Mimamsa, Nyaya, everything comes into this bracket. Aparavidya. Paravidya is that by which the ultimate is attained. It's called Upasana, Bhakti Yoga, or Prapatti. Do not put Prapatti here. Prapatti also includes in that 32 types of Vidyas, Brahma Vidyas. They are also called Brahma Vidya. Prapatti is also one of them, by which directly we attain the ultimate. So studying Vedas itself will not give us liberation. Studying the Vedangas, Shastras, Mimamsa, Nyaya, that will not give us liberation. But that has to be put to practice through Bhakti Yoga or Prapatti. There is another prescribed means for putting that knowledge to application. You have to apply that knowledge, perform the means, then only you will get the ultimate. So the knowledge itself will not lead you to liberation. Yastanna veda kim rucha karishyati yaitad vidusta hime samasate. Veda says, yaha tat naveda kim rucha karishyati. Ruk mantras are all there. We by heart all the Ruk mantras, but we don't know the self. What is the use? One who knows the Atman, the inner self of everyone, he gets liberated. Says. And in the Upanishads, there are wonderful stories. Bhuma Vidya in Chandogya Upanishad, 7th chapter. Sanat Kumara, Narada approaches Sanat Kumara, asks him to teach. And he asks, please do teach me you Upadesha, he says. So now Sanat Kumara asks him, what do you know? Already, tell me what you know already. Based on that, I will decide what to teach. He says, I know Rigveda, Samveda, Yajurveda, Atharvaveda, Vakavakya, Nyaya, Mimamsa. All these things I know, he says. Then Sanat Kumara says, what else is there for me to teach? He says, Mantra videvasmina atmavit. I only know the mantras, I don't know the self, Atman. I have heard from people like you that Tarati Shokam Atma Vite. Only one who knows the self is Atma, means Paramatma there, crosses over this samsara, which is said to be Shoka. Tarati Shokam Atma Vite. So please do teach me about Atma and then let me cross over this samsara. And he teaches all that. So these are all told in Upanishads in wonderful ways. So it is divided into para and apara vidya. This is what Prahlada also tells in Vishnu Purana. Prahlada is sent to Shukacharya, his sons, and all those, Chanda, Marka, and all that, to study all the Rajaniti, this, that, all that they teach. And he comes back. Hiranyakashipu asks him, what all you learned? I've learned a lot of things, but all that according to me is avidya, he says. Vidya is one which will give us to moksha. Yat tat karma yat na bandhaya sa vidyaya vimuktaye ayasaya aparam karma vidyanya shilpa naipunam. Prahlada's words in Vishnu Purana to Hiranyakashipu says, tat karma yat na bandhaya. The act, karma that we do, acts, which should not bind us. That is only is called karma. Anything that binds us is not karma according to me, because it will bind us in the samsara and we have to give suffering here, birth after the birth. So what is karma is really that we should not bind us. And that is vidya, which is leading us to liberation. Vidyaya vimuktaye. Any other knowledge is of useless. If it doesn't lead us to liberation, what is the use of all that? All those things are wasted effort. Ayasaya aparam karma. If you do all other karmas, it is only wasted effort. Vidyanya shilpanaipunam. If you learn all other fields of knowledge, you become an expert. It will only give you some skills. It will not give you liberation. Prahlada says. Like that, aparavidya and paravidya. Wonderfully classified by the Upanishad, Mundakopanishad. You find this. So one has to study all these things also. Not that one should not study Vedas and all these, but they are all foundational knowledge. And that has to be, that is to acquire scriptural knowledge about Purusharthas and realities. But the ultimate knowledge has to be put to practice, application. Then only one will realize the benefit of the knowledge. So if you say that somebody is knowledgeable, that means what he knows he is putting into practice. You should be able to see that in practice. Then only you can say knowledgeable. Just by rote, if I learn everything and keep repeating words and keep repeating mantras, that is not real knowledge. The meaning of those mantras should be put to practice. That's what is important. Shastras say that, our acharyas tell that. So that is the fundamental thing. First is necessary, what we acquire the necessary knowledge and then put it to practice. That is one of the means to liberation. And these are all to be known from the scriptures only, the knowledge acquired from the scriptures. And also the second important thing is we acquire knowledge from scripture, but we should not have no doubt and we should not have any misunderstanding about them. If we study ourselves, we will get hundreds of doubts and we will understand many things wrongly by reading translations or things like that for the first time if I study. But if I have heard from an acharya, which has come in a sampradaya, passed on from Guru Shishya Parampara, I get proper knowledge. Then I can study books and firm up my knowledge, my understanding. So we should eliminate, root out all the doubts, etc. For that we have to do mimamsa. We have to inquire about it. We have to do inquiry and all that. So these are all some of the basic things that are required, and we will go more about this means, which is a very important part of the course here. And then we look at the Purushartha. So there are a lot of details about this that we have to go through, and that I think I'll stop today at this point, and we'll continue the next session. For my pranams to all, and leave the class open for any questions. Thank you. Yeah. Tell me.
Adiyan Swami.
Tell.
So, from the point of Vishistadvaita, person is who is attaining Kaivalya Moksham, does he use his Dharmabhuta Jnana to know himself, or how does he know himself in that state of Kaivalya?
Of course, it is through Dharmabhuti Jnana only. No
But
doubt about it. It is not moksha, it is Kaivalya only. Should not say Kaivalya moksha. Moksha is different from Kaivalya. Kaivalya is always experiencing himself, but he will be in this world only. He will not get liberated from samsara. That comes out of some sukrita which he has done earlier. It is an experience of a fruit of a karma which he has done earlier. So, just like somebody does yoga and goes experience in the Swarga in heavens, like that Kaivalya is also a fruit of some karma which is done earlier. It is not ultimate liberation.
but in the slides it was mentioned that Dharmabhuta Jnana is used to know other than oneself, used to know objects other than oneself.
Other than oneself, but when he is knowing oneself, how does he know oneself? He knows oneself as subservient to the Lord, that he cannot know directly by himself. He has to know through the Shastras, but he will be experiencing that all the time. It will be in his mind that I am subservient to the Lord. I am different from the body. I am doing all these acts because I am associated with matter. This is because of my karma. And so he will be always focused on the Atma Swarupa. Nothing else. He will be untouched by anything that is happening in the world. It will all be just mechanical, or he may be just meditating, sitting and meditating on the Atma Swarupa. But that meditation also happens through Dharmabhuta Jnana only.
Oh,
Swami, Swami,
Yes.
in the next class, it will be further elaborated. What is bhakti and prapatti?
Yeah, we'll be going in great detail. Karma Yoga also
Okay.
in a lot of detail. I also have some comparison with other darshanas, Karma Yoga and all that. So
Uh,
we'll be going in a lot of detail, yes.
okay. No, I have one doubt. Bhakti and
Mm.
prapatti, who can do? Means it is for all class of people, or only it's
Bhakti
for?
cannot, bhakti, one who wants to do bhakti yoga has to have the adhikara, the eligibility to study Vedas. One who
Uh,
has the eligibility to study Vedas only can do karma yoga, jnana yoga and bhakti yoga.
uh,
Prapatti, anybody can do. That we will do in
okay.
great detail later.
Uh,
Prapatti, sarvadhikara, there is no discrimination of caste, creed or age or knowledge or anything for prapatti,
okay.
gender or anything. Yeah,
Okay.
anybody
Thank
can
you.
do.
Adiyan, thank you.
Swami, just now you mentioned that bhakti, uh, Swami.
Yeah,
Just now you mentioned bhakti cannot be performed by all and it requires adhikara
not
to.
bhakti. Bhakti yoga is what is important. Bhakti, I have mentioned bhakti there, but it's bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga
Oh,
is different from bhakti. Karma yoga is different from karma. I am going to elaborate and tell about those things also in the next class.
okay.
Yeah. Karma
Okay.
means any act that we do, any yaga, homa, these all things are there. Karma yoga means it is a particular thing that is prescribed in the Shastra. For example, Bhagavad Gita, Karma Yoga is taught how to do Karma Yoga. That Karma Yoga involves many karmas to be done along with that. Any of the karmas, Dravya Yajna, Tapo Yajna, Jnana Yajna, Swadhyaya Jnana Yajna, like that many types of Karma Yogas and all are there. But Karma Yoga is different from karma itself. So I'll talk about all that when we go through
Okay,
later,
sir.
the next classes. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Adiyan.
I was
Adiyan,
wondering,
Tell me, Mohini has got
yeah,
something. I think.
I was
Yeah.
wondering when you get liberation, mukti, and when you go to Paramapada, what exactly do you do there? Do you do seva there to Narayan?
Yes, you will be doing Kainkariya, it's called. So selfless service and enjoying the Lord and doing selfless service.
And is this service exactly described by any acharyas? Are they writing?
Yeah, it is service of whatever is suitable to different states of the Lord, those services. It can be anything. It is described in a lot of details. Yeah.
Can you maybe give one or two examples, like what this service
If
looks like?
Lord wants to go for a walk, you can become his slipper if you want. Or if he wants to go and sit in a park, you can become a park there. Like that. There are so many things, so many varieties of these things that are told. You can take any form through non-material forms you can take and you can serve the Lord. You can worship him. You can do aradhana. You can do puja. You can do any kinds of service to the Lord. Different, there are umpteen number of ways in which you can serve the Lord. So a servant, how he serves the Lord here in master in this world. Similarly, you can do all those services also. Apart from that, there are so many other things also that are told. They're all there very in great detail. The Upanishad itself, it is there.
So it is also possible to become like with a material, like you said, like a non-material form, or you can become the slippers of the Lord, but you can also be like attendant, like who cooks for him, who fends for him.
Everything you can do, whatever you want. Whatever you desire, you can do. What you desire means what Paramatman desires, you desire according to that. So they will, since they have complete knowledge, they don't desire independently. Their desires will
Yeah.
be always in accordance with Paramatman's desire.
Yeah. So the rasa is always like a dasya rasa. It's not like
Yeah.
you become a sakha
Correct.
of Narayan or you have
No.
parental affection.
Because there you would have realized your full nature as completely, utterly subservient to the Lord. You will never do anything independently.
Yeah. So those who worship Ramachandra, they can have like Vatsalya Bhav towards Ramachandra, or
They can enjoy all those forms if they want. If Paramatman says, I am going to be incarnated as Rama, you come and serve me in some way, they will come and serve in some way. That also they can do. For example, Ramayana, Garuda comes and really releases him from Nagapasha and all that. The serpent, whatever, the Astra. The Garuda is actually a Nityasuri, he is a Mukta who comes there and serves the Lord in that way. So they are, all those things they are possible. Anything is possible. We will see that later. When we go to the nature of liberation, we will see.
Okay.
That is the last chapter, nature of liberation.
Again, I have a very basic question.
Yeah.
What are the Shastra Pramanas for Dharmabhuta Gnana, the references?
I told a couple of them, but I showed a couple of them if you observe. One minute. Yeah, I just put 2, 3 of them here. There are hundreds of pramanas like this. These are all showing in Brahma Sutras are also there. And all these are Upanishad statements and Vedic statements. And which says Vijñāta means one who is a knower. A knowership is through Dharmabhuta Jnana only. Knowership. Knower means if he says, Inkita also kshetrajñam chapi mam vidhi. Kshetrajña is kshetram janati, one who knows that in the body. One who knows, the knower who is in the body is kshetrajña. So Avinashi Ayamatma, Anurchiti Dharma. His dharma means attribute. Attribute is indestructible, indestructible attribute he has got. Cannot be destroyed. Eternal attribute he has got. Vijñātāram, one who is a knower. Like that. These are like these hundreds of Shruti Pramanas are there. If you see, look at the works of our Acharyas, like in Sri Bhashya, Bhagavad Ramanuja quotes, lots of Pramanas for establishing the Dharmabhuta Jnana and all that. There are very, very many Pramanas in all the Upanishads.
Adiyan Swami,
Just
Hmm.
like the Muktatma takes many forms to serve Sriman Narayana. So to
Yes.
accommodate all these Jivatmas there, will Swami also take many forms? One will go to the park and one will,
Possible.
possible.
You can take any forms, any number of forms, anywhere, all that. He is all pervading. He can give any number of any kind of experience to any of those liberated, what he desires. Yes.
Hare, Hare. That's all, Hare.
If there are no more questions, so at the end of the course, of course, if any of these topics, anybody wants more detail and all that, we can always include after the complete session. But if you listen to the whole session, you will get a total idea, though it is very brief. When we study the works end to end only, we will get proper idea. Like Brahma Sutra Bhashya, commentary of Brahma Sutras, if you study end to end, you get a thorough idea. It may take a long time, but like that. But here it's a condensed course. So in about 15-20 lectures, we are trying to understand what is written in great detail. So at the end, we can take up certain topics for more detailed discussion, whatever required.
Again, your channel I saw, but some of the like Brahma Sutra, they are in Kannada. It is coming.
Yeah, because locally that is a language preferred by everyone. Many people want me to teach in Kannada. So I am teaching in Kannada. Some classes I am conducting in Tamil also through Acharya Pasaka.
Are you planning to do Sri Bhashya?
Sri Bhashyam where?
Sorry.
English.
Again, sorry. I was talking to my husband. Is Swami planning to do Sri Bhashyam after Vishistadvaita course completes?
No, Sri Bhashyam is a very, very huge work. And in Kannada, I have completed once complete Sri Bhashyam. It has taken 408 lectures. Okay. It is not a small subject and requires a lot of dedication and commitment from everyone. And it's not easy to study. And it requires background of Nyaya Darshana and Mimamsa a little bit and all that. So it is not that easy. We will see. Sri Bhashyam is too big a work to study. There are other smaller works we can probably take up.
Like Vedanta Sangraham, again?
Vedanta Sara, for example, is a small work on Brahma Sutra Bhashya. So Ramanuja has written 3 works on Brahma Sutras: Vedanta Sara, Vedanta Deepa, and Sri Bhashya. For different kinds of people, Vedanta Sara just gives the Siddhanta. What is the Vishistadvaitic view of all the sutras? Very briefly. It's a small work. Vedanta Deepa gives the prima facie view and the Siddhanta view. So the Purva-paksha and Siddhanta briefly. See, Sri Bhashya goes into great detail. So 3 levels he has written, Brahma Sutra, commentaries of Brahma Sutra. We can study probably. We'll see. Based on the interest, we can take up some works.
Yeah, I'm looking very much forward for further studies.
Let's see. Let's see what we can do. With that, I will conclude.
Parama Bhagya Swami. That's all.
Arun Shri Krishna.